Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy TK here. Honestly, it took a lot out of me to press this button today. You feel me? Like, my brother JT yesterday, he told me, he was like, bro, you somebody you always want to be perfect all the time. And life ain't about being perfect. Sometimes it's about just getting started. So without further ado, here I am. I don't have everything I wanted to get started, but why not? Why not today? Why not get the ball rolling and then continue to build on from there? So welcome to TK Addison's, the Market Ventriloquist YouTube channel. And here I'm gonna be, you know, making videos, recording my journey. I'm gonna be recording my live trading, recording some back test sessions. I got a lot of ideas planned, but y'all know me. I'm a day trader. Working on the path of consistency within these markets. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into today's video. Now today I actually want to go ahead and review my January, see how I did last month, and as we prepare for the new month. And in my January, I actually had a pretty good January considering the circumstances. My son was born in the beginning of the month. Shout out to my baby boy TJ. Hey, for y'all who parents, y'all know how it is when they first born. They just yelling their head off, hungry all the time, crying. But given those circumstances, I still was actually able to have a pretty good month and achieve some goals. And hopefully, I can continue to build off those goals into the rest of the year and get to the place where I want to be by the end of the year. So let's go ahead and actually pull up the MT4 screen, and I'm going to show like what my January looked like. So I think it's right here. There we go. So this is the live account that I was trading in January. Um, and I'm just gonna not go through every trade, but I want you guys to just look at what occurred, I guess. And we're actually gonna do one trade review. Um, Pretty nice trade that I took on this, and yeah. But as you guys can see in the beginning of the year, I was ass, like ass. I don't know what was going on. Obviously, I think it was the new environment of being a new father, along with uh the eagerness to get back into the markets. Towards the end of last year, I wasn't really trading as much, preparing for a new baby, just kind of settling down and whatnot. So I guess the eagerness to get back in the markets to start trading and pressing buttons. And I took some silly trades within here. I also took a lot of break evens. I think out my first 10 trades, I went like 0, 6, and 4. Some of those break evens should have been wins, but I wasn't managing them correctly. I wasn't taking partials when I was supposed to on a few of them. Um, and yeah, so we had to take a step back. Like, bro, what is going on? But after that little scenario occurred, we actually came in and we actually had a couple TPs. I think there was like 4 major TPs that I took that allowed me to get nice little payout at the end of January. And where the account sits now is we're at 99K. And yeah, I'm gonna continue to trade this and see what we can do within the month of February. I also was able to pass a phase one of a different challenge, but currently right now, that broker that prop firm, sorry, is dealing with broker issues. So I wasn't able to get my phase two. So I've been out of commission with that for uh, probably a week and a half at this point. And with this account, last week I was crazy busy, crazy busy. So I didn't really look at the charts much. I only took one trade. So next upcoming week will be my first full week, my first real week of February, and we're gonna see what we can do with that. So yeah, let's go back into this. I want to review. I want to review this Euro USD trade. I think this was a nice little banger that I took, and yeah, we're just gonna look at that real quick, see a little bit of markups, and we're gonna call this our first video and see. This is I guess my favorite position that I took out of uh, my first month, and I'm just gonna show what that kind of looked like. So let's go ahead and hop right over to Trading View. Let's go ahead and get to EU. Um, so you guys know I pretty much only trade EU, GU, and UCAD um, as my three pairs. So any videos you see me make of me trading live or any back testing, well, some back tests I could do different pairs, but any like back testing of the previous month or previous week's price action and whatnot is going to all be EU, GU, and UCAT. But let's go ahead and do a little bit of markups and see why did I take that EU position. That I flashed on the screen over there. So right here, looking at structure. Let's actually go backwards. I think it was like this week or so. Hold on. Let's go to the daily. Let's see where it was. I think it was like right about here. Yeah, somewhere around there. All right. So looking at this, cool. I'm like, all right. Looking at our structure points, you know, uh, and I like to draw my daily structure points based off the weekly price action. Just a little trick is I had this daily range right here. But we had this daily low or high, sorry, made a higher low, then a higher high, then we had to break the structure of that low. So we had that happen, and we was coming into this supply right over here. So that was the basis of my trades, knowing that okay, based upon this, um, we know that this low is technically weak and can be taken out the market. So we should look for sells into that direction. Right. So now I'm gonna go actually in daily and confirm that my structure points are correct. And they are, right? Those are my swing structure points. And let me just fix this up real quick. I'm a little OCD, so you guys are gonna see me like making a mess of some things, or not making a mess, sorry, cleaning up some messes of things and whatnot. Um, but yeah, so we had that daily bearishness there, and then we had to push into this POI right around here. It also aligned with there's this supply zone that's right here. We could tell by this wick that price also tagged into. So little confluence right there. It's like a POI in the supply. Little confluence right there. Now looking at this, I'm going to draw my H4 structure, which we had as bullish, and this is currently the swing H4 range. So right now, if we're doing the top down, we got a little bit of conflictedness where we got daily as being bearish, H4 is being bullish. So it's like, all right, which way does price actually want to go? Right. So that's something that we gotta kind of sift through, figure out using lower time frames, using intentions, things of that nature. Right. I'm not gonna get too crazy into the strategy, but pretty much that's where we are at that point in time. I'm gonna drop down to H4, and based on this, I can see that. Oh, let's go back a little bit because the trade was right around here. I can see that price, made that higher high. Then we started getting pullbacks back lower. One area where I was expecting the price to get back into was this area of demand right here. Right. So for me, I can take sells, or I'm definitely looking to take sells into that demand where I would be looking to take buys if H4 holds, or I know that sells can continue and then cause the H4 BOS, which will ultimately cause like a daily BOS. So pretty much, just being fluid in the market, knowing that there's two things that could happen. Either we're most likely going to sell down, take these lows out, come into here and then buy, or we're going to sell down and likely, if this doesn't hold, we'll just break through, continue lower. So I'm gonna draw this right here. This is like an internal, like a little internal break on H4. Internal structure right here. And again, going a little bit quick. This is not a full strategy breakdown. I'm just going to show the trade idea. And there was a nice little supply zone in here that I'm going to draw up. Cool. So let me actually draw my H4 internal points. And based on that same logic, I know that these lows are weak, right? Based on H4 internal. So I'm looking to trade into that direction, right? Let's go ahead and hop on M15 now. I'm actually going to get rid of this and replace it with something else. Use this right here. And here we had this little supply right here, which I love because the supply, pretty much swept some liquidity and then it sold off, created some nice intent, right, which ultimately led to this H4 internal break right here, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. That's a nice little supply zone. So all I need is price to come in there, show me some intentions of it selling, right? So let me actually just draw this liquidity being taken right here, then the sell off. Then we also had, some liquidity sitting below that POI as inducement. So I'm like, all right, cool. Price can, push into here, take this liquidity, then sell off, right? So again, another reason confluence of why price can sell. And then the next confluence would be that we had the Asian low right here as liquidity. So I'm like, all right, we got a few reasons why price, could be going lower from here. All this choppiness could be getting taken out, right? So what I did was, let price come into that area. Oops. And then from there, price was able to hit this point and give me a little shift of structure on the M1 time frame. Right? So we got a break right there. I'm going to draw it up real quick. Boom. Boom. Now I wasn't here for this first break. And no, it also took a little bit of liquidity right here. Slightly, but I wasn't on the charts at the time. I think I was still sleeping, or I was either like getting, fixing TJ up, whatever. It's like 2 a.m. So usually I get up at 2. And TJ a lot of times is yelling his head off at that time. So sometimes I have to go ahead and take care of him first, of course. So price comes in, it tags this little supply area right here, which I missed, which would have been a nice little entry, right? And then what does it do? It sells off again, and it gives us another break downwards, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. Price is really showing, on the lower time frames that it wants to trade lower, right? Let me actually draw these little structure points so it's easy to identify. Boom, 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 right? So I'm like, all right, cool. So now if price would have shot back up into it pretty quickly, I wouldn't have been as convinced. But I'm like, let's see what price is going to do, right? So looking at it a little bit, this is when I fell in love with it. Price came, it set these relatively equal lows, showing me that it wasn't really shooting back into it, right? You can see how aggressive this was to the downside, and then how like kind of passive it was coming back in, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. I can get in there. And then here's where I absolutely was like, all right, this trade is about to be a banger, right? We set kind of this little inducement low here, right? Maybe people selling early, some liquidity engineered into the market right there. And that's when the limit goes onto this position right here with a 3-pip stop loss. And let me actually just flash the entry real quick. I think my entry on the broker was literally 1.09105. Right? Let's go ahead and show that real quick. Yeah, as you can see, right over here. One nine oh that 1.09105. Right, was the entry. I also took a GU trade on the same day. Pretty much a similar setup. I'm not gonna show it on this one, but price tag, boom, we got the perfect entry right there. So we're like, all right, cool. Now, how do we manage this trade? Well, first, I'm taking some partials off of this position. Take a third of my position off right over here. Let's actually go back to my face. There we go. I'm taking a third of position right off right over here. So this would be my break even point at this bottom right here, and then this would be my TP1. And that's just a fixed TP. It's not structural based. It's just management of the trade. Right, secure a little bit of bread. Right, I'll secure 1R plus charges once it hits that point. And yeah, so we let it play out. Cool, we're chilling. We're not paying attention. All right, we get the B alert. Cool, we go BE, and then we letting price do what it do. And then price starts to come back upwards. So people may panic and I used to panic a lot in the past. But at this point, we see, all right, what can we see? We see structure continuously going bearish. So now we got this low, and this is pretty much the same thing. We get this liquidity now, right? Relatively equal lows right there, and then we also got this new area of supply. So I was actually looking to get back into the market right over here, um, with another 3 pip stop right there, right? Duplicate that. So have a limit right on that position right there. And we also got a little bit of liquidity sitting below that area, right? These little highs right here sitting below that can help us, fuel that move and then take out this low. So that was looking like a clean re-entry, especially because I'm break even, or what I would do is I would minimize my stop right above this high, because I know if this goes, then trade is over. And I think I would only be risking like 2 pip bets versus of my original entry, which is pretty much nothing. So price unfortunately does not tag, but we hit a TP1, so we delete the limit, and we're like, all right, cool. Now we're just gonna go back to M15, and then it's like, where are our targets? Well, I usually set 3 targets. My 1 to 3 target, which was there, which then I set a 1 to 10 target, which was here, but I also know this low could go, right? But the difference is only like 1R, so I'm like, I need to be greedy, so take the next one there. And then the final target, which I would hold another part of my position for, is this swing low all the way down here, right? To take out that and align with this, H4 internal lower low, right? Making this a lower high right in here, right? So going back to that, what do we get? A nice little move to the downside. Price pretty much dies and sells off aggressively. And, we are very content with that trade. It's a nice little banger. Um, in and out the market with the bag. So, that was a nice little banger that I took after, as you guys can see, after me taking a bunch of terrible losses. Some of them were good losses. Some of them were, uh, were any of them good losses, actually? I think out of those first 6 losses, maybe one was actually a good trade. Like, one was actually a trade that I should have taken based upon my edge within the market, uh, my strategy and whatnot. So that eagerness in the beginning of the year was just crazy, because dug myself into a hole where obviously if I didn't, I would have been even more profitable. Um, but nonetheless, the thing is, when that happens, can't really bash myself for it. Although I know, like, all right, be disciplined. Can't bash myself. Can't really have that hindsight bias. Like, oh man, I wish I didn't do that. Honestly, just got to get ready for the next play, which I'm glad that I did. Was able to take advantage of. So that allowed me to have a pretty good January. And I think what I'm gonna do is in February. One thing I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna trade a challenge account, and I think I'm gonna do that. Making videos just like this. I'm gonna actually record myself live, while I'm looking for trade setups and post videos later and whatnot, and just see how I do within this new challenge that I'm engaging in February. My goal right now is to just continue to utilize these prop firms, try to stack capital as much as I can, uh, and then see where we go by the end of the year. So appreciate y'all for tuning in. Shout out to y'all for watching this video if you made it so far. And I know it's not so glamorous and pretty and fun, but we're gonna get to that point. So shout out to y'all for being here for the first one. Be sure to tune in. I will definitely be posting a lot more on my socials and everything like that. So stay tuned. Your boy TK out. Stay true.